Hey everybody, Steve Stine here from GuitarZoom, and today we're going to be looking at is part 2 of the Creative Arpeggios installment. So if you like this video, please do me a favor and share it and subscribe to the channel. Make sure your guitar's tuned up, and let's go ahead and get started. All right, just like we did in part 1, we're going to be using the same chord. We're going to be using a C major chord to explore this creative arpeggio idea. So this time what we're going to be doing is looking at an E minor arpeggio, and we're going to expand that. We're going to start with an E minor arpeggio. Now, why would E minor work over a C major chord? Well, if we look at the notes, and it's okay if you don't know this, but let's just run through this quick. If we look at the notes of an E minor chord, we're playing E, G, and B. That chord consists of the notes E, G, and B. Okay? Well, how does that work over a C chord? Well, a C chord consists of C, E, and G. So you can already see the E and G exist in both of those. But if we take the C major chord and we expand it out to what we refer to as a C major 7 chord, then that chord would use C, E, G, and B. All right? C, E, G, and B. So if we look at E, G, B, there's our E minor chord right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull that E minor out, and we're going to make a whole new arpeggio out of it. So let's take a look at this. We're going to go up to E on the 5th string, and we're going to play E, G, which is 7 to 10. And then right here we've got the note B, which is the 9th fret of the 4th string. Okay, now if we want to do that again, E, G, B, we would play E, and then G, and then B. So we'd have, okay, which is a typical way of playing an arpeggio on the guitar. Now the nice thing is if you can visualize what you are doing right now, along with the C chord, which is what you're actually playing over, and I'm going to use a jam track in just a second so you can kind of hear this. But if I visualize those, I can see how the E minor chord, or the E minor arpeggio, excuse me, and the C major chord are kind of interacting with each other. Now, we know that the E note and the G note and the are going to fit perfectly with that chord. It's the B that's going to create a little bit of tension because it's the major 7th of the chord. Okay, so as we're playing this, we have to be aware that when we play E and G, those two are going to fit wonderfully over that chord. It's this note that's going to create some tension. And we can always relieve that tension by simply going back, or we can actually just go up a half step higher and it becomes the note C. And it can resolve that way. So I could play, and again it's going to resolve. Okay, so let me play a little jam track here for you to hear this. Okay, so that B is creating quite a bit of tension, and we can resolve that tension a number of different ways. But if you watch the last video, what I want to do with this arpeggio is I want to make it easier to play. Okay, I'm playing E, G, B, E, G, B, which is fine, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to alter that shape that I'm playing a little bit by adding a new note, which means I'm subtracting something off a particular string, to make it easier for me to flow through the shape that I'm doing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play E, G, B, but instead of playing the E, I'm going to move back to the note D. So I have, and all of a sudden this becomes a little bit easier to flow through. Okay, now I can take this, I'm playing on the top here, I'm playing the B. Well, I have a D right here, that's an octave of that I can go to. And it becomes a little bit easier to try and flow through. Now I still have to be aware of how this chord is reacting, or this arpeggio, excuse me, is reacting to the C chord that I'm playing. So the best thing to do is just listen to it. See how that likes to resolve up? But it makes for a nice movement. So the point is that it's creating some tension, and you might like it, you might not like it, and it's okay. If we stay with the traditional root third and fifth, it's always going to work really nice. As we add some of these other notes, it's adding some color that we didn't have before, and oftentimes it's adding some tension. So we have to decide where we want to go before, and most importantly, where we want to go after. So if we've created that tension, we want to figure out how we want to resolve it, right? So if I'm doing something like this, that right there, we know it can go up. It should sound just fine. But it sounds pretty cool creating that tension right there. You just have to spend some time screwing around with it and see what you think of it. But that's another option that sounds really nice. So if you're playing over something and you've created a really nice melody, but you need something that breaks up the monotony of those same notes all the time, these are great things that you can throw in. And I'll always, you know, I won't sit and just play them back and forth like this. I tend to just throw something in and then it goes somewhere else. So it creates all of this new sound. And then you can go somewhere else from there, like the part one that we did. You could attack something like that. But it keeps you from always playing everything in a scalular sense, because you can kind of cut through these strings and get something new and unique. So I hope that helps you a little bit, gives you some different ideas. You can keep exploring all over the place. This isn't the only thing that you can do with this. But I just want to try and spark some excitement in something a little bit different than just playing the same thing all the time. So again, if you enjoyed this, please do me a favor and share it. Subscribe to my channel so you can see videos. I've got all kinds of different videos, and you can always be notified when I go live. Or when I come out with new videos, that sort of thing. And just keep practicing, stay positive, keep doing this, okay? Hey, this is Steve Stine from GuitarZoom. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please do me a favor, like it and share it. And also make sure that you subscribe to this channel so you're always notified when I release new videos.